Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for Contender Series 2025 week number 10. And this is probably the most packed, not as far as talent, but most packed as far as number of fights on the Contender Series card I've ever seen, to my recollection. I think it's like 5 fights on the card, but yeah, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for Contender Series 2025 week number 10. So let's get into it. First fight we have in the middleweight division, we got Mario Mianj versus Wes Schultz. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'm going low confidence Wes Schultz to beat Mario Mianj. Yeah, I feel like Mario Mianj, I think the main reason why people are picking him is because, he seems well-rounded. His record seems good. He seems physically this. There's a lot of seeming like this, seeming like that, but his level of competition has been extremely weak. And Wes Schultz, his competition has actually been extremely strong. I just forgot the guy's name, but he fought a big black undefeated well-rounded fighter who has a wrestling background on his Contender Series 8 loss, and that was a very close and rough fight that I think Mansour Abdul-Malik, not to say he's some super special fighter yet, but Mansour Abdul-Malik is still a guy that can blossom into a great talent. He's still young enough, big frame, the skill just got to come along, experience got to come along. And Wes Schultz, I think hurt him a couple shots in the fight. People not give him that credit. I feel like he hurt him a couple shots or caught his attention with shots. They were scrambling. It was a hard fight up to that point, and it looked like to me at points like Malik was like dwindling in that fight, but he was able to rally, regroup himself, and then start to apply the damage and got Wes Schultz out of there. So it's not like Wes Schultz is a guy that just got washed on the Contender Series. Like, he had a good scrap, and he lost a guy he was supposed to lose to, like a guy he was literally supposed to lose to. A guy that the UFC clearly wanted to have interest in and was clearly the A side. Whereas this Mario Mingain guy, there's no clear A side. He just got an undefeated record, but he hasn't fought nobody. And Wes Schultz also took Dylan Bucka to a competitive decision as well. And Dylan Bucka took Azamat Bokoyev to a split decision in the past. So he's been fighting in some solid competition. He's been fighting in some elite leagues. Mario Mingain has been fighting like low tier leagues against low tier competition. When I look at his fights, he's fighting like bald 45-year-old guys that probably like 155 and got weight on them now because they got like 5 kids and they don't care no more. They just want to, get a UFC fight or MMA fight off their MMA fight off their bucket list. That's like his competition level. Wes Schultz might be nothing special, but I feel like he's definitely more tested and more skilled than Mianj, tougher than Mianj here, better grappling Mianj here. And I think he can make an ugly fight and wear down Mianj and submit him in the second round. Like, Mianj's okay fighter, but nothing about him, the level of competition or his skills is really striking thing. I don't think either guy gonna be particularly special in the UFC to make it to the UFC, and probably gonna be easy wins for whoever fights them. But I do think Wes Schultz's experience in his level of competition and how he fared against that competition, like I feel pretty much every single fight I've seen him win or lose, he has made his opponents, again, I would say UFC level, whether it be bottom feeder UFC level or at least can hold their own, like Abdul Malik a bit. It might even soar and evolve into a guy that could be a top 10, top 5 in the future. He held his own and gave them grief at points in their fight. So Wes Schultz is definitely much more credible here. And I think he'll be able to give Miang a lot of grief, but Miang is not the level of competition that Wes Schultz has been fighting and the guys that level of competition that he has lost to it, is what I'm saying. So he's not going to be the prettiest fight, but he's going to make it his fight, wear down Miang, and I see him submitting Miang in the second round. So in this one, I got Wes Schultz via second round submission. Now the next fight we have in the heavyweight division, we got Azamat Naftaliev versus Jovan Lakai. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'll go low confidence Azamat Naftaliev to beat Jovan Lakai. I think Lakai's a solid fighter, but primarily just a puncher. Azamat Naftaliev can strike, he can grapple, and I definitely think he'll look to use his grappling to grind out Jovan Lakai here. And I'll say like I'm gonna say like a late second round TKO via ground and pound for Azamat Naftaliev. But against a heavyweight fight, and it's not like he has some perfect record or he's just some perfect talent. His record definitely got some losses on there or loss on there and stuff. So I still got to see more from him. So I can't go like, oh, he's average this or average confidence or high confidence this. Like, especially with Contender Series, like you got to show me something or have already shown me something before. Like, I've seen some good stuff, but I have not seen enough to be like put any real confidence. And I feel like the odds on it's gonna be kind of trash. So yeah, second round TKO, low confidence for Azamat Naftaliev. So second round TKO. Now the next fight we have in the welterweight division, we got Michael Oliveira versus Victor Valenzuela. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going Michael Oliveira, low confidence to beat Victor Valenzuela. I feel like both guys are primarily striker. Both guys are pretty solid on the feet. Again, not really saying nothing particularly special about either guy as far as the UFC level. But I feel like Michael Oliveira is just a bigger, more physical guy, a little bit more sharper with his technique on the feet. And I feel like that's what's going to be the difference. I can see this fight getting stopped. I can see it going the distance. But, hey, I think Valenzuela is pretty tough, so I'll say decision here. So, tough competitive scrap. I feel like Michael Oliveira is going to land a more significant shot and deal more damage when he lands. And just be a little bit sharper on the feet, and that's going to be the difference here. So, in this one, I have Michael Oliveira via decision. All right. Next fight we have in the featherweight division, we got Marwan Rahiki versus Ananias Mulumba. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go low confidence Marwan Rahiki to beat Ananias Mulumba. I feel like Mulumba's a solid fighter, but just raw. Like maybe if he was, again, I don't know all the details. He might very well have been training in America for 5 years. I'm just gonna say if he was training in an American gym or English gym, just training in a gym that's a little bit more top here. Obviously, it's gonna take time for them over there to catch up with the rest of the world, or at least the top of the world. Yeah, obviously, it's gonna take some time for that. But so the talent, the skill, the teaching over there isn't world class just yet. At least not on a widespread level as it is in like maybe Europe, Russia, and some of the more powerhouse nations right now. So they got the talent, but they need to go to where the best teaching is. So I feel like I see the workings of it, like I see working all the skill sets, but it just looks rough. His striking looks rough. His grappling well, like he looks physically strong and stuff, but it's like the skill and technique just is sharp. That's all I'm saying. And Marwan Rahiki, he'll be the bigger, longer guy. Pause. And I feel like he's a faster, sharper guy. I feel like his striking technique is much sharper. I do see openings on the feet, and I feel like Mulumba does striking kind of slightly. I could see him potentially catching Rahiki on the feet and then sleeping him. I could see that happen. Again, crazier things have happened on the Contender series and in fighting in general. It's a fight at the end of the day. But I just feel like Marwan Rahiki is just much sharper. And again, everybody has a puncher's chance, but I'm not going to really ever just favor a puncher's chance. It got to be something more to it. Or the odds got to be ridiculous or something. I just got to be feeling like lucky or something for me to do that. It's like it's rarely I ever lean to this lack of technique unless the guy that has been getting by with that lack of technique. Like, oh, that guy, yeah, he got this uppercut, but he knocked everybody out with that uppercut. So, and this guy got no chin. He gonna land up. This guy might have 100 different, be level 100 as far as technique, but his chin on one. And this guy has 200 power or something like that. He gonna land uppercut. He land uppercut on 5 guys. Matter of fact, guys with better defense and better chin, so he gonna hit them too. But yeah, but I feel like this one, I gotta go with the more technical guy, Marwan Rahiki. Just feel like he's a much more sharper striker. And I feel like he'll be able to pick apart Mulumba and then put him away, I'm going to say, early 3rd round TKO for Marwan Rahiki. So, in this one, I got Marwan Rahiki via 3rd round TKO. Now, to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Juan Diaz versus Juan Quan. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go average confidence Juan Diaz to beat Juan Quan. And I really don't know why Juan Quan here. I don't know why he's here. I don't know why his nickname is Pretty Boy. He's ugly as hell. I don't know why. There's a lot of stuff I don't know why he's here, but some guys is like, if you get an opportunity, you take it. Obviously, he got in his back head. I know he don't really belong here, but hey, stuff might happen. Maybe he'll cast his risk and get his reward or whatever. He'll take that risk and get his reward. But yeah, I think this in the last fight he got stopped with a body shot, I believe. But don't quote me on that. I'm not in too deep with really a lot of these predictions and stuff. I don't really care that much. But I know he's recently come off a knock, if not his last one. If not a headshot or a body shot, I think it's a body shot. And I think that's his very last fight that he had. Juan Diaz seems like the much more sharper, more talented guy, more filled out. Juan Kwan kind of got that skinny, slender build, not very strong, not very talented, but seems like well trained, but the skills not all that great, and the talent's even more lacking. Juan Diaz is like the much sharper fighter overall, much more durable, much more gritty, and even more technical. It's like in every area he hasn't beat. Only that like Juan Kwan, he's longer by a little bit, but he's very thin, and like I said, all his advantages really nullified. Like I said, you got that length, but can't really use it. Got that weak, thinned out body, and you fight him. You would think being that skinny, you probably be like 6'4" or something, like a real height, a crazy height advantage. But we're thinking he had 45 or whatever, or 135. So he is a tall 135er, but Juan Diaz is also a tall 145, 35. He's also a tall, lighter guy, and he has more mass on him and carries himself well. So I just think like Juan Diaz is just gonna run over Juan Quan. I say a 1st round TKO for Juan Diaz. So. In this one, Juan Diaz via 1st round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the light heavyweight division, we got Freddy Vidal versus Levy Rodriguez. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Freddy Vidal to beat Levy Rodriguez. So Freddy Vidal, he's a tough fighter. It's not like he's well trained and all. But He definitely looks the part of a part timer and also probably like a late starter. He looks like everything he is. 31. It looked like he probably started fighting like he's 26, 27. I don't know exactly when he started. I don't really care too much, but I think it fits the picture whether it's the true or not. How do you feel like he probably started late in his late 20s, if not even in his 30s? Um, it clearly, working a job. I think he said like he a part time teacher and some other stuff. He got a couple different jobs, so he's a part timer and he's a late starter. So those aren't good things. But he does got heart. He does got the will. He does train at a pretty good gym, and he's coming off a performance where he had to come back from behind. He was a big underdog. And he came through and got the finish. So he showed his toughness. Now he'll have even more confidence going this one, given the fact that he went there for a guy that was supposed to take him down and submit him and face adversity and ended up submitting his opponent. So he pulled a rabbit out of the hat against a guy who was supposed to do that to him. He choked the snake or whatever. But yeah, Levy Rodriguez, not a whole lot of tape on him. Not hasn't fought a lot of good competition, if not any good competition. But he does, he's a wild card. We don't know how good he is, but it seems like he primarily deals in striking. Doesn't seem very well rounded. Again, not a whole lot of tape on him. We don't know exactly what he is. That's why the concern is there. But going with Freddie Vidal, like he's for the tough guy that he's supposed to lose to. We see him face that adversity. And I feel like Rodriguez has not faced adversity. Like we don't know how good he is, but as far as a pro, he has not, or amateur, he hasn't really faced great adversity in my opinion. Whereas Vidal has, especially particularly in his very last fight, and he came in on short notice and had this. So he was facing an uphill battle. He was coming on short notice. He was supposed to lose. The guy was more well trained, had a clear edge in one area, and Vidal had to face all these adversities, and still came out and did what his opponent was supposed to do to him, and then went back to work with the next day or something like that. He took an off day from substitute teaching to get a win on the Contender Series. And really, they should have gave him a UFC contract after that, but it is what it is. And also, this fight is down a weight class. He was fighting his last fight at heavyweight, so yeah, I think Freddie Vidal will be much sharper here, much more motivated. I think he's gonna take the time. I think he took the time off he needed to train for this one. So I expect the best Vidal we've seen. And at the very least, we seen him be able to go rounds and face adversity and rally. So I think this one he's gonna look the pressure, mixing the takedowns against a guy that's primarily a striker, grind him out. And I see a late second round submission for Freddie Vidal. So in this one, I got Freddie Vidal via second round submission. All right, I don't know what my dang doing. Hopefully it didn't kick out on me. Okay, I don't know what it's doing. But it is what it is. Like my name was having a little technical difficulties. Y'all gonna catch that in the camera. But if you made it this far, it is what it is. Like it decided to mess up, but at least everything kept recording, so that's all that matter. I ain't edited nothing out. But that has been the video. Thanks for watching. This has been the full card predictions for Contender Series 2025, week number 10. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time. Peace.